Okay, before we even say hi, David, quick question. What time did you wake up this morning?
Don't ask me that.
That bad?
Sarah, I woke up at 9:47, and I only know that because my phone yelled at me.
See, that's exactly why I wanted to start with that question. Because today's story, it's about a guy who used to wake up at literally the worst time possible, like backwards from the rest of the world.
Backwards how?
You'll see. But first, everyone listening right now, I want you to actually answer this in your head. What time is it for you right now? Are you exhausted? Are you wide awake? Just notice it. Keep it in your mind because by the end of this episode, that number might mean something different to you.
Ooh, mysterious.
I try.
All right, so tell me about this guy. Who is he?
His name is Thomas, 32 years old, lives in this small town where basically everything runs on factories. Day shift, night shift, the whole thing, never sleeps.
Okay.
And Thomas, he's a night security guard. Every evening at 8, he goes to work. Every morning at 6, he comes home, completely wiped out and goes to sleep.
Wait, so his morning is actually his bedtime?
Exactly, and that's the backwards part I mentioned.
Man, okay, that's rough already.
It gets rougher. His salary was tiny, barely enough to survive on. He lived in this one-room apartment. The fan was broken. He slept on a mattress on the floor, one light bulb that would flicker whenever the power got weak.
Oh, no.
Clothes were old, shoes had holes in them. But here's the thing, David. The money wasn't even the worst part.
What was worse than that?
He felt trapped, like stuck. Every morning walking home while the whole town was just waking up, he'd see families eating breakfast through their windows, kids getting ready for school, guys in clean shirts heading to office jobs.
And he's walking home to go to sleep.
While everyone else is starting their day. And he kept thinking, is this going to be my life forever?
That hits different. I think a lot of people know that feeling, where you're not exactly failing, but you're not moving either. You're just stuck.
Stuck is the word. He'd actually tried to get out of it too, applied for better jobs, but he'd only finished high school, so a lot of doors were just closed to him automatically.
Yeah, that happens more than people admit.
And he wanted to learn new skills, but after a full night on his feet, he was too tired to do anything except collapse into bed.
So it's like a trap that feeds itself.
A trap that feeds itself. I love that. That's a good way to put it. And on top of everything, his mom lived out in the countryside, and she'd call him once a week. Thomas, my son, when is your life going to get better? I'm getting old. I want to see you succeed before I go.
Oof.
And he'd always say, soon, Mama, soon. I'm working on it.
But he wasn't really.
He wasn't. Not because he was lazy, and I want to be really clear about that, because this is the part that hurt him the most. He worked hard every single night, walked miles, stayed alert, did his job properly. But hard work alone wasn't changing anything.
That's almost the saddest part of the story, honestly. Working hard in a life that's going nowhere.
Yeah. And every morning around 7 a.m., he'd fall into bed and sleep till 4 in the afternoon. And he told himself he felt like he was living backwards, the world moving forward while he slept through it.
Okay, hold on. Before we go further, real quick. This is English FB, in case you're new here and just wandered in halfway through a guy's sad backstory.
Great timing, David.
I try. But seriously, this is a show where Sarah and I just talk. Real stories, real conversations. And along the way, you pick up English the way you'd actually pick it up if you lived somewhere it was spoken, just by hearing it used, not by memorizing a textbook.
No boring grammar lecture, I promise.
None. We just tell you the story, and your brain quietly absorbs the language while you're busy caring about what happens to Thomas.
Which, by the way, you should care about because it's about to get heavier before it gets better.
Oh no.
One cold Tuesday morning in November, Thomas is just leaving work when his phone suddenly rings. It's his sister. Thomas, you need to come home right now. Mama collapsed. She's in the hospital.
Wait, what?
His heart practically stops. He jumps on the very first bus, a 3-hour ride that feels more like 10. He finally reaches the small village clinic. His mom is lying in bed, weak but awake.
What happened?
The doctor says she collapsed from exhaustion. Too much work, too much stress. She needs rest, better food, medicine, things they simply can't afford.
That's heartbreaking.
Then she reaches for his hand. Her voice is quiet, but every word hits like a hammer. Thomas, please. Don't waste your life the way I wasted mine. Find a way. Promise me.
Wow. That's the turning point, isn't it?
Exactly. After she falls asleep, he just sits there, staring at her hands
hands that spent decades working in the fields. And suddenly it hits him. She worked her whole life and never escaped. And now he's walking the exact same path.
That's bigger than one person. That's a whole cycle.
Exactly. And something inside him snaps. Not fear, not sadness. Determination. Pure determination.
Yeah, that moment when you realize something has to change.
He walks outside the clinic. It's 5 a.m. The village is silent. A few farmers are already heading to the fields. Birds begin to sing. Cold air fills his lungs.
And then?
He looks up, takes a deep breath, clenches his fists, and says out loud, "No more. I'm done living like this. I don't care how hard it is. I will find a way."
Chills. Okay, I need a second.
Take your second.
Okay, I'm back. So what happens on the bus ride home?
This is actually my favorite part of the whole story. He's sitting on the bus, heading back to town, and across from him is this man, 50s, well-dressed, calmly reading a book, looking completely at peace.
Random guy on a bus?
Not totally random. Thomas recognizes him. It's Mr. Chun, the successful businessman who owns a bunch of shops around town.
Okay, so what's shocking about that?
The time. It's 6 a.m. A successful businessman on a regular bus at 6 in the morning.
Huh. Yeah, that is a little odd, actually. You'd expect a guy like that to have a driver or something.
Right? So Thomas gathers up his courage and just asks him straight out, "Excuse me, sir, why are you on this early bus?"
Bold move.
And Mr. Chun just smiles and says, "Because I wake up at 4:30 every morning. I use this time to read, think, and plan my day before the world wakes up."
4:30. That's not a morning person. That's a different species.
Thomas basically says the same thing. "But don't you need sleep?" And Mr. Chun goes, "I sleep at 9 p.m., 7.5 hours. That's enough."
Discipline.
Total discipline. And then Mr. Chun looks at Thomas's exhausted face and asks, "You work nights?" Thomas says yes, security guard. "And when do you sleep?" 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. usually.
And I'm guessing Mr. Chun has thoughts on that.
Oh, he does. He nods slowly and says, "So you're awake when the world sleeps, and asleep when the world works. No wonder you're stuck."
Ouch. But also fair.
Brutally fair. Then Mr. Chun leans forward, looks Thomas straight in the eyes, and says, "Young man, let me tell you a secret that changed my life 30 years ago. The hours between 5 and 7 in the morning, those are magic hours. That's when you build the life you want, while everyone else is still dreaming."
Okay, I actually love that line. While everyone else is still dreaming.
Right? That sentence hits Thomas hard. For the first time in a long time, something begins to stir inside him. Hope. And honestly, hope almost feels dangerous because life has disappointed him so many times.
Yeah, he's afraid to believe again.
Thomas asks, "But how? I work until 6 in the morning. I need sleep."
Fair question.
Mr. Chun doesn't hesitate. Then change your schedule. Go home, sleep from 6:30 until 11:30. 5 hours is enough to survive for now. Then use the rest of the day to build your future. And when you finally can, change your job. Wake up at 5 every morning, always. That's the secret.
Hold on, David. Before we keep going, there's a phrase Sarah just used that I don't want anyone to miss.
Go for it.
Something stirred inside him. If something stirs inside you, a feeling, hope, fear, excitement, whatever, starts to wake up. Slowly, but clearly. Think about stirring a cup of coffee. Everything sitting quietly at the bottom starts moving. Same idea, but with emotions.
That's actually a perfect comparison. Coffee and emotions.
I have my moments.
Mr. Chun smiles, writes his phone number on a small card, and hands it to Thomas. If you're serious about changing your life, call me. I'll show you exactly what to do with those morning hours. But only if you're serious, because this takes discipline, and most people don't have it.
That's not just an invitation. That's a challenge.
Exactly. The bus finally reaches Thomas's stop. He looks down at the card, slips it into his pocket, takes a deep breath, and makes a promise to himself. I will do it, starting tomorrow.
Does he actually call?
He does. That very evening, for the first time in his life, Thomas picks up the phone and calls someone he barely knows just to ask for help.
That takes real courage.
It really does. The very next day, at 11 in the morning, Thomas is awake during daylight on a weekday for the first time in years.
That's wild. Just being awake while everyone else is working must have felt like living in a completely different world.
Exactly. He meets Mr. Chun at a small cafe. Mr. Chun smiles, nods with genuine approval, and says, "You actually changed your sleep schedule. Good. Most people talk, you acted."
Wow, that line is going to stay with people. Most people talk. You acted.
Honestly, that one sentence captures the whole story. Mr. Chun pulls out a notebook, sketches a simple little house, and says, "Thomas, imagine your life is this house. Right now it's dark, it's cold, and it's falling apart."
Ouch. Okay, keep going.
Then he points at the bottom of the drawing. Do you know why? Because you've never had time to build the foundation. You've been too busy surviving. He draws a thick line underneath the house. Those early morning hours, that's your foundation. While everyone else is sleeping or just waking up, you're building your future.
Just 2 hours a day?
Just 2 hours. 14 hours every week, around 60 hours every month, and 730 hours every single year.
Hold on. Say that number again.
730 hours. Mr. Chun writes the number in big letters across the page. That's more than 90 full 8-hour workdays. He pauses for a second. Think about that. Almost 3 extra months every year that most people never use.
3 extra months. That completely changes how you think about time. It's not about making your days longer. It's about using the hours that everyone else lets disappear.
Exactly. Thomas just stares at the notebook. His eyes get wider and wider. 3 months!
Honestly, I'd have exactly the same reaction.
So here's the actual system Mr. Chun lays out, and this part's important because it's not vague motivational fluff, it's specific. Hour 1, 5 to 6 a.m., build skills. You spend this hour learning something that will actually change your financial situation. Not TV, not scrolling, learning. A language, a trade, whatever. Free online courses, YouTube has everything, no excuse.
Very direct.
Very direct. Hour 2, 6 to 7 a.m., build body and mind. 30 minutes, exercise. Walk, run, stretch, whatever, because your body is your vehicle, and if it breaks down, you've got nothing. Then the second half, meditate, read, plan your day, or review what you learned in hour 1.
Okay, that's a solid structure.
And then 3 rules. Rule 1, no negotiation. You wake at 5 a.m. every single day, including weekends. No, just today I'll skip. That's how you fail.
Harsh, but I get it. One exception becomes 10 exceptions really fast.
Rule 2, sleep by 9 p.m. You can't cheat sleep and expect to succeed. Your body needs rest, but you control when that rest happens.
Right. It's not about sleeping less, it's about shifting when you sleep.
Exactly. Rule 3, the first week will be hell. Your body will hate you, your mind will invent excuses, push through. After 21 days, it becomes normal. After 90 days, it becomes who you are.
90 days. There's your episode title, basically.
Right? And then Mr. Chun gets serious and says, I'm giving you 3 months. Build skills in hour 1, build yourself in hour 2. After 3 months, come back, show me what you've built. If you've actually done the work, I'll help you find a better job. If you quit, don't bother calling. Success goes to people who show up when it's hard.
That's a lot of pressure to put on a total stranger.
It is, but Thomas feels the weight of it. And also, for the first time in years, something else, purpose. He says, I will do it, I will not quit. And Mr. Chun just gives this knowing little smile and goes, we'll see. Everyone says that.
Cold, but probably true, honestly. Everyone does say that.
Everyone does. So the next morning, the alarm screams at 5 a.m., and Thomas's entire body protests. His mind's whispering, just 1 more hour, you're so tired.
The classic first day negotiation with yourself.
But he remembers his mom's face in the hospital, remembers the challenge, remembers his own promise. And he just throws off the blanket and stands up.
That's the whole battle right there, isn't it? Just standing up.
Honestly, yeah. First week is pain, though. He's dragging himself out of bed every morning, body aching from the lack of sleep. 5 a.m., still dark. He's sitting at this tiny table watching free Excel tutorials on his phone, eyes burning, mind wandering, but he doesn't stop.
Why Excel out of everything?
Because he figured out every business needs someone who understands numbers and organization. Practical choice.
So 6 a.m., he forces himself out for a 30-minute walk around the neighborhood, then reads articles about accounting. By 7:30, he's back in bed, sleeps till 2 p.m., gets ready for his night shift at 3.
So it's exhausting and lonely too, probably. Nobody around him even understands why he's suddenly doing this.
Totally alone in it. But here's the turn. Something shifts around day 20. One morning, he wakes up at 4:58, 2 minutes before his alarm.
Oh, his body adjusted.
Adjusted. And for the first time, instead of anger, he just feels normal. Like it's become his reality, not a punishment. The tutorials start actually making sense. Formulas, data analysis, basic accounting concepts clicking into place. He finishes his first online certificate.
That's a big milestone.
Huge. And his morning walks stop being a chore. They become something he actually looks forward to. The sunrise, the quiet streets, that feeling of building something while everyone else sleeps.
There's actually a saying that fits perfectly right here. The early bird catches the worm.
Oh, I love that you brought that up.
It basically means the person who starts early, who gets moving before everyone else, ends up getting the advantage, the opportunity, the reward before anyone else even wakes up to compete for it.
And it's funny because that's literally what's happening to Thomas. While the whole town's asleep, he's quietly grabbing his worm, so to speak.
Slightly weird phrasing when you say it like that, but yes, exactly.
Reminds me, actually, my grandfather used to say that exact same to me when I was a teenager because I'd wake up at like 11 a.m. every summer.
Oh no, was he disappointed in you?
Deeply. But one summer, I actually started waking up early just to prove him wrong, and I ended up getting this small tutoring job because I was literally the only student who showed up to the sign-up table at 8 a.m. Nobody else bothered.
See? That's the whole story in miniature.
Right? The early bird thing isn't magic. It's just less competition when you show up while everyone else is still asleep.
Okay, back to Thomas. By the end of month 2, where's he at?
He's completed 3 online courses, accounting, Excel. He's lost weight from all the walking. His mind feels sharper. His confidence is genuinely growing. And people at work start noticing. Coworkers going, "Thomas, you look different, healthier. What changed?"
And what does he say?
He just smiles and goes, "I'm changing my life 2 hours at a time."
Good line.
Third month, he actually puts the skills to use, builds this simple Excel spreadsheet to organize the warehouse inventory, something the company had honestly never done properly, shows it to his supervisor.
And the supervisor's impressed, I assume.
Very. "Thomas, how did you learn this? I wake up at 5 a.m. and teach myself." Word travels, supervisor to warehouse manager to the owner. And on day 87 of this whole journey, his supervisor calls him into the office.
Oh, here we go.
"Thomas, we're expanding our accounting department. We need someone who understands warehouse operations and has basic bookkeeping skills. The job's yours if you want it. Day shift, double your current salary."
Double.
Double. Thomas just stands there, can't even speak. 3 months ago, he was a hopeless night guard, and now he's being offered an office job.
When do I start, probably?
Exactly what he says. Next Monday. That evening, he calls Mr. Chun. "I did it. I never missed a single 5 a.m. wake up, and today I got promoted."
What does Mr. Chun say?
There's this pause, and then his voice comes through, proud, warm. "I knew you would. You had the look of someone ready to change. Now remember, don't stop waking at 5 a.m. That's not a strategy. That's your life now." And Thomas says, "I won't stop. This is who I am now."
Chills again. Okay, so where does he end up?
1 year later, he's the company's lead accountant, saved enough to move his mom to town, get her proper medical care, rented a decent 2-bedroom apartment. And every morning at 5 a.m., he still wakes up, not because he has to anymore, but because those 2 hours became sacred to him, still learning new things, reading, planning his future.
And his coworkers must be so confused, because at this point, he's already succeeded.
They ask him that exact thing. "Thomas, why do you still wake up so early? You've already made it." And he just smiles and says, "Success isn't a destination. It's a daily practice. And mine begins at 5 a.m.
Okay, that line's going straight into my head and staying there.
It's a good one to end the story on, right? And honestly, before we wrap up, there's this old proverb that fits the whole thing perfectly. And it kind of ties back to what we said earlier. Rome wasn't built in a day.
Oh, everyone knows that one. But let's actually unpack it a little, because people repeat it without thinking about it.
Right. It basically means anything worth building, a career, a skill, a life, takes time, and you can't rush it or force it into a single burst. Thomas didn't transform overnight, right? He didn't wake up one day suddenly successful. It was 90 days, brick by brick, hour by hour, at 5 in the morning when nobody was watching.
That's the real message under the whole story, honestly. Not wake up early and get rich fast. It's more like small, consistent actions, repeated without skipping, eventually become a completely different life.
Right. And I think that's what makes this different from a lot of those generic just work harder stories, because it's specific. 2 hours, a clear structure, rules, not vague hustle talk.
Okay, so real talk. For anyone listening right now, what would you actually do with an extra 2 hours if you protected them like Thomas did?
That's a genuinely good question to just sit with for a second.
I mean, for me, if I'm honest, I think I'd finally get back into reading. I used to read constantly, and somewhere along the way, it just got replaced with scrolling, basically.
Relatable. I think I'd want to actually learn to cook properly instead of just surviving on the same 5 meals on rotation.
Same 5 meals. That's specific, but sure, I believe you.
It's a rotation, David. It works.
I'm not judging. I have 4 meals, so you're already ahead of me.
Okay, well, if you're listening and you've made it this far, we'd genuinely love to know, what would your hour one be? What's the one skill or the one thing you'd actually build if you had 2 protected, quiet hours every morning?
Drop it in the comments. Tell us what you'd build, and tell us what time it is where you're listening from right now, because we're always curious where in the world this show ends up.
And if this story actually did something for you, even just a little spark, share it with the one person in your life who always says they want to change, but never quite does.
Maybe this is the nudge they needed.
And subscribe if you haven't, because we bring you a new story every week, along with the real natural English that comes with it.
Thomas had nothing. No degree, no connections, no money. Just a decision made at 5 in the morning, standing outside a hospital.
And like he said, success isn't a destination, it's a daily practice.
We'll see you in the next one.
Bye, everyone.